Hey, what's up YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician channel. And today, as you guessed, if you read the title, we're going to be going over the Dyno Don headers. So I wasn't originally supposed to get them until October 25th, which is like 2 months after I ordered them, but it's the end of September now, so I'm getting them basically a month early, which is great. Dyno Don makes these headers per customer, so it does take a little bit of time, which is understandable. And receiving them early, I got a little excited. So we're gonna do an up close and personal look of the Dyno Don headers, and I'm gonna try and give you as much information on them as possible as well. I took my own measurements and everything because there's not a lot out there, and reading the forums can just cause a headache sometimes. And as far as YouTube reviews go, unless you wanna see a 30-second clip of somebody running supposedly Dyno Don headers on a car, but you can't really see much, or if you want to see an unboxing in the dark for 20 seconds, they have those on YouTube. So I wanted to try and make a little bit better video where you guys can actually get some details about the Dyno Don headers and a good look at them. I'm also going to compare them to an old set of Shorty headers that I had in a previous 3rd gen Camaro. They're really cheap and old, but at least it's a comparison so you guys can see that. Other than that, Dyno Don has G-body headers as well, white pipes, and a few other things as well. He sells his stuff through Top Down Solutions, or you can reach him on a lot of different forums as well. So that's a couple different ways to reach him, but I'm going to try and provide you with as much information as I can on these headers. And I truly believe, as far as Shorty headers, they're the best Shorty headers that you can install on a 3rd gen. I'm not willing to go through the headache of running long tube headers on these 3rd gens, and I'm just not going to do it. And as far as Shorties, I wanted to go with the best, and this is what I believe. Let me know what you guys think, and if you haven't heard of Dyno Don headers, check them out. Some really nice stuff. Okay, so I hope the lighting is sufficient enough. The Dyno Don headers did come packaged very well in bubble wrap and paper, and it comes in a plastic bag, just like this one does. But I've looked over both of them. They're the same quality, so I'm just gonna show you this one and compare it to this off-brand knockoff over here. I don't know if it's a Jigs or a Summit, but I do know it's a cheaper one. This is gonna run around $150 to $200. This is gonna run around $500 to $600, depending on whether you get an extra O2 bung, whether you get air tubes on it, the coating. If you talk to Dyno Don personally on a forum, you could get it possibly in a black coating instead of the ceramic coating, but I got the ceramic coating because it's really good with heat and it looks a lot better. So we're gonna just go through a quick comparison. I'll give you some information and measurements on these two, and then I'll give you a close-up of the Dyno Don headers. So the Jegs, the primaries, which are these tubes right here, your primary tubes, on the knockoff, it is going to be 1 5/8 inches, but that's at the biggest portion. Up here, it actually does get smaller here. And then on the Dyno Don, it is actually 1 3/4. And as far as I know, without making your own Shorty headers, I believe the Dyno Dons are the biggest primaries you can get for a Shorty header for the 82 to 92 Camaro. The collectors, as far as the inside diameter is going to be 2 3/8 on this knockoff and 2.5 on the Dyno Don. A lot of people do wish that they could get a 3-inch collector. I'm okay with the 2.5. Dyno Don has really put a lot of time and effort into these, and I believe him when he says they dyno and run very well, so I'm okay with that. Now that is the inner diameters. The outer diameter, this one is going to be 3 inches, so be careful when ordering headers. Make sure when they say 3-inch collector that they mean the inner diameter, because who cares how big the outside is when flowing air. The outside of the Dyno Don is going to be 2 7/8 inches. And then this is going to have the ball flange or ball adapter and 2-bolt adapter, and this is going to be the 3-bolt and the flared style. Then going to the flange, this is a big thing. A lot of people will complain about their headers leaking and stuff like that, or having an exhaust leak. Well, this is a 1/4 inch thick. That's not measuring with the gasket on there, just the metal. is a 1/4 inch thick. That's really thin for a flange, and what causes exhaust leaks, the heat on something this thin can actually warp this and cause leaks. And then another thing being, what they do with a lot of headers is they actually take these primaries, they push them through the flange, and then they weld them along the back side of the flange, causing a lip. If you guys can see that, there's actually a lip there. So this is the part that's actually sitting up against the block. Well, obviously there's a gasket there, but that's causing a deformation in the gasket, and it's sitting funny up against the block. And then with that 1/4 inch flange, it's not helping because it heats up and it can warp more easily. And then on the Dyno Don, the flange is actually 3/8 inch thick. So it is 1/8 of an inch thicker than the knockoff. Nice thick flange there. And then as far as how he welds them, he doesn't push them all the way through to the back side of the flange. He actually keeps them centered, and then he welds them on the inside and cleans them up. So you have a nice flush surface to sit up against your gasket, and your gasket is sitting nice and flush up against your block. So with the thicker flange and the smoother surface, you're gonna get a much better seal. Then moving on, what other information do I have here? Oh yes, the O2 bung on this, it is not drilled through. You would have to drill it through yourself. So if you don't use an O2 sensor, then that's fine. You can just leave it like this. But if you were to use one, you'd have to drill it out and watch out for the threads. And then it's actually not welded all the way around. If you can see that down in there, it's not welded all the way around. It's a dirty weld, and you would definitely have some leaks there, but I mean, you really do get what you pay for when it comes to an exhaust system or headers or anything like that. And then the Dyno Don, you can actually ask for the O2 sensor to be in a specific spot. If you talk to him, you can ask for more than one if you're running dual O2 sensors. He does a nice weld around it, and it is already drilled for you. So that's really nice. And then, like I stated, this was just a black paint. It wasn't heat treated, or it's not a high temp paint. It's meant to burn off. It's basically to keep it from rusting while it's being shipped and stuff like that. These probably only have about 100 miles on them, truthfully, but they were purchased back in 2008 or 2009. And then this is a ceramic coating that deals much better with heat dissipation and stuff like that, and it will last a lot longer. And then I'm gonna try and show you the inside of the collector so you can see where all the primaries meet. So you can see it's obviously dirty in there, but the welds are real sloppy. It's kind of slapped in there, and not everything's covered either. So it's really hard to see up in there. And it is a difficult job to get that nice and clean in there, but you can tell, you know, if they're selling them for $150, they're not gonna put a whole lot of time into it. But then Dyno Don does a much better job of welding it up in there and actually trying to clean it up as best as possible. So he did a really good job with that. I give him props on that. And then that's basically it as far as the measurements and information that I have. So the Dyno Don is a 1 3/4 inch primary, a nice thick flange, smooth surface. The ball end down here on the collector is a 2.5 inch collector, and that's basically it. Nice clean welds, but now I'm just going to give you a real close-up look of it so you guys can see it, and we'll finish this video up. So another thing I want to mention on cheaper headers as well, I meant to grab the other one, but the way they route these primaries on cheaper ones, they don't spend a whole lot of time on the design, and they don't really try to keep the lengths similar. So you would have like this second one that comes up around the back and over the top, so it's extremely long compared to one of them that directly just goes to the back. So it's really short, so you get a lot of different lengths there, where Dyno Don has done a really good job of routing both sides to keep them similar lengths and everything. So he's done a really good job there as well. So now let's just take a close look up. And I will be ordering the Y pipe for this as well. I'll do the dual Y pipe. He made sure everything's sealed up nicely. Here you can kind of see a closer up look of the flange. So I give props to Dyno Don. If somebody sees the price on these and they're like, oh, whoa, that's way too high, you know, well, just know you get what you pay for. Dyno Don has done a lot of work on designing these and everything, and there's a lot of good reviews out there on them. Now, one thing is a lot of people will mention fitment issues. These are some of the best fitting Shorty headers there are out there, as far as spark plug clearance, as well as frame clearance and everything like that, like the K-member. Now, the people that did have issues, 90% of the time, it was due to them having their motor mounts in backwards. They had the passenger side on the right or on the driver's side and vice versa, which causes the engine to sit at a different angle, causing it to, well, when you install the headers, to be at a different angle and run into the K-member. So if you do purchase these or another set of headers and you have clearance issues with the K-member or anything, just keep in mind your engine mounts are either sagging or you have them in backwards. So that's just one possibility. So also keep in mind there's different things that could cause that, such as, you know, the vehicle body not being straight, things like that. But back to the Dyno Don headers, really good job on these. Really proud of them. I'm really happy I spent the money on them, and I really think I'm going to enjoy them. Stay tuned for the video of me installing them, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.